Hi guys, in this training I'm going to show you the 3 key things you need to do to build the team in your business. Now I've been coaching businesses for over 20 years. Yes, I know I'm getting old. But over that time, the biggest challenge in the business is team. It's people. It's building the team. That's your biggest challenge. So it's really important that you get good at doing this and you understand the process of doing it. So that's what I'm going to go through in this training. I'll show you exactly what I do with my clients to help them build their team. So let's get into it. For those who don't know me, my name is Toby. I am the owner and founder of Smart Business Coaching. I work one-on-one with Gold Coast business owners to help them get in control of their money, to build their to grow their business, and to build their team. So today I'm going to show you what I do to help my clients to build a team. The most important and hardest thing you probably need to do or you're going to do in your business. But it's really important you do it, because the last thing in the world you want to do is be the one that's doing all the work. So you need to build the team so you don't have to do the work. Often the biggest goal that I help business owners with is to build the business so they get more money and more time. Now you cannot do the time bit if you don't build a team. So it's really important you build that team and you build it in the right way, methodically and carefully and reasonably slowly. But you need to build that team so that works so you don't have to. So let me go through and I'll just show you the framework that I use with my clients, and it's got the 3 key areas I work on with my clients, which is the money side of things, the growth side of things, and the people side of things. What we're focused on here is people. So big problem people have is a lack of business owners is the lack of people. So here we want to master the people process and master and how to build the team. So that first and foremost starts off with systems. So we need to sit there and design the team and the structure on paper first. So one of the things I do with my clients is I'll sit down and go, okay, where do we want this business to be in 3 years' time? Okay, and we'll get through and we'll describe what we want this business to look like in 3 years' time. We'll then go, okay, what roles will need to be fulfilled in the business in 3 years' time? So we'll set up an organizational chart for what roles need to be filled up in that business. So we get an understanding of what roles they will need to be filled. Then I'll ask the owner, what roles do you want to be playing in 3 years' time? So often when you draw up those boxes on an organizational chart, guess who's in each box? Usually the owner's in 80-90% of them. So then I'm going, okay, well, how many of these boxes do you want to be out of in 3 years' time? That gives us a very clear idea of what team we need to build, what roles we need to fulfill. It gives us an idea from an organizational chart point of view. Then the other key things I do is then, okay, let's work out what your vision is for the business and what your values are within the business. So if you get the values right, then and if people follow those values, then you're going to get like-minded people together in a team who are going to have the same attitude, the same values, and who are going to drive the business forward better. So here we've got a vision and values, we've got an organisational chart of where the business needs to be, and we've got a plan for where the business is going. Now, a great metaphor, which I got from Good to Great by Jim Collins, which is a great book. If you haven't read it, please go ahead and read it. He talks about the importance of building the team first. And what he did in that book is they actually analysed businesses that had gone from being good businesses to great businesses, which I think criteria was that they outperformed their competitors by at least 10 times on the stock market for at least a 10-year or 15-year period. So these businesses had performed really well for a long period of time. They compared that with other businesses in the same sectors. And they went, okay, what are the key differences? So one of the key differences was people first. They got the right people within their teams first. Now this is looking at bigger businesses, and they talk about their management teams and getting the right talent on the management teams, running the different areas. Small businesses is slightly different, but you do need to get those core hires right and build a core team, which will ultimately end up being a bit of a management team, depending how far you want to grow the business. So let's get out the core team right. But it talks about getting the team right first. And there's a great metaphor in there as thinking about your team or your business as a bus. And it says it's about getting the right people on the bus and the right people off. Now I'll take that a bit further. Once you've got kind of a bit of a 3-year plan, that tells people this is the bus, this is where the bus is going. So this is what's written on the front, this is where we're going. The seats on the bus then represent your organisational chart. These are the seats we need to fill. So this is what we need to fill, and this is the roles we're going to need to fill. Then people can decide, all right, this is exciting, I've got choices where potentially I could sit. Then you've got the vision and the values. They help then determine, okay, how do we behave on the bus? How do we talk to one another? What do we think about certain ways of acting and certain ways of not acting? What's it going to be like in this bus? So that then really sets the picture on paper of where you're going. And when I'm with my clients or working with my clients, we'll do that on paper first. Then we get the team together and we go through. We go, okay, this is where we're going. So we get that core team together and we share where we're going. We'll often talk about the journey so far. We'll then go, okay, this is where we're heading going forward. And what that does is it tends to excite the right people because they want to get on the bus. They want that seat that they like out the front, and they want to be part of something bigger than them. So it gets them excited to come to work. And then others who will think, okay, I don't like this anymore, will choose themselves to get off the bus over time. So, but you're setting that yardstick and you're starting to be a leader, which is the first thing on here. But you need to design it all on paper first, so you know exactly where you're going. And the other things you design on paper first as well is then getting the position descriptions right. And again, this is not an exercise just to fill out paperwork. Position description and organisational charts are really just looking at all the tasks for the business and splitting it up into different lists for different people. So then you got, okay, your role does this role does that. So you have a position description which lists down the key tasks that role needs to do, and then key performance indicators, so what we look at to know whether they're doing well in that job or not and getting the results that we need. So you have your organisational chart, you have your position descriptions, you have your vision and values, you have a 3-year plan. You then need to set up a management process. So this moves to the next stage. You need core management processes set up, and this is where you as an owner need to become a good manager. And eventually you need to recruit good managers as well. But this includes things like, okay, got a good recruitment process set up for each role and for how you're going to recruit people. Good induction process, again, set up for each role and then how you're going to do that. Probationable periods and how they're managed. Then you've got team meetings, team training, one-on-one performance reviews. So that's how you manage people on a day-to-day basis to make sure they're doing the right job. Then you've got to have management processes set up to dealing with people who aren't performing. So you need turnaround meetings, you need discipline, and you need termination. So you need to set those management processes up in your business so you can manage that team effectively. One of the key things we do is once I'm working with a client, we've got that vision of where we're going, we've set up the organisation charts, we've shared it with the team, then we can start working out who can sit on what seat, who can't, and who needs to be moved on. I'm just working with a client at the moment where we've just done exactly this process. And what a tool that I do use as well with my clients is something called DISC. DISC is a great personality profiling tool. Well, it's a behavioural profiling tool actually. Myers-Briggs is another big one. But what it does is it gives you another angle on somebody. So sometimes I can sit there with a client and go, okay, this is the roles we want for the business. Then I go, okay, who's filling those roles at the moment? And they go, X is filling that role. And then we've done a DISC profile and go, actually, that DISC profile doesn't match that role. It's the wrong profile. He's gonna or she's gonna struggle. And this is how they're gonna struggle. And often they turn around and say, oh yeah, they are struggling with that. Because there's a mismatch in the person to the role. They're sat in the wrong seat. So you need to move them off that seat and get somebody in that seat who can do that better. So that's what we're doing, but we need to set up those management processes so we can have those conversations with the team and work with them effectively to help them make that change and to help them develop either into their roles or to find new roles, or ultimately to find their way out. if that's what we need to do. But that comes from having core and good management processes in place. The last thing then about building your team is then you becoming a leader and educating yourself and working out yourself how to be a better leader. So there's things you need to do on that as well, and your change as a person as you go through this journey. I worked with a client, and I worked for them for probably 7 or 8 years, but they were a commercial builder, and they went from doing a 2 million a year to 20, 25 million a year. And during that process, we obviously had to build a whole team. So they went from a handful of them, so 4 or 5 of them, to 50 or 60 employees and a full management team. So we had to go through this process with them to set this up. Now at the end of that, now the owner's at the point where he works 4 days a week, takes a whole month off in January and can take time off when he likes, and focuses more on his investment side of things and focuses on upholding the values within the business and being a leader. So he leads, then we've got a general manager who does the day-to-day stuff and manages and drives the business forward. He works very closely with his general manager, who then manages the team underneath him and drives the business forward. But that comes from you learning how to be the right manager. And it's a journey. It's a journey for him, and it's the same for all my clients. When we start coaching compared to where they end up, it's a journey where you have to grow and develop yourself. Your business is often a reflection of you and how much you're willing to grow and develop. All the stuff I teach isn't rocket science, but it's your mindset or our own head trash that often gets in the way. So it's about growing you as a leader and as a manager. And as you do grow as a leader and as a manager, and you bring on the right people around you to facilitate that, you're able to kind of step back and the business grows underneath you. So it's a process for sure, but that's the kind of framework I follow with my clients. I hope you find that useful. If you have any questions, then please write comments below. And if you do want any help, then you can book in a call with me on my website and we can find out if and how I can help you. And if you like this training, make sure you subscribe. There's plenty more where this came from. Cheers, guys. Talk to you soon.